And so after you called Lindsay and didn't get a response, what did you do next?
I started checking upstairs. First, the bathroom. I thought maybe they were taking baths, but there's no one there.
Was there anyone in the kids' bedrooms?
No.
And then did you go to your bedroom?
Yeah.
And were you able to get into your bedroom right away?
No, the door was locked, and that's when I knew something was wrong.
For nearly 3 years, the name Lindsay Clancy has haunted the public consciousness. A labor and delivery nurse, a mother of 3, a woman who took the lives of her own children before leaping from a second-story window. Now, in a packed Massachusetts courtroom, the trial is finally unfolding, and it's rewriting everything the public thought it knew. Previously sealed testimony from her ex-husband, Patrick Clancy, a viral TikTok video from a whistleblower that just derailed the defense's entire strategy. This is no longer just a story about what happened in that basement. It's a trial about postpartum psychosis, over-medication, and a healthcare system now under the microscope. To understand how we got here, we have to go back to the evening of January 24, 2023. Patrick Clancy took the stand as the prosecution's star witness, describing what he thought was an ordinary Tuesday. He testified that Lindsay seemed happy that day. Earlier, they'd built a snowman with the kids. No arguments, no warning signs. Then Lindsay asked him to run 2 quick errands, pick up pediatric medicine at CVS, and grab takeout from a nearby restaurant. Patrick was gone about 45 minutes. On the drive home, he called to confirm she had the medicine. He testified her voice sounded quiet, like she was just busy bathing the kids. But when he walked through the front door, the house was silent, too silent. Patrick testified he went straight to their master bedroom. The door was locked. When he forced it open, he found blood near the window, and looking out into the backyard, he saw Lindsay lying motionless on the ground below. He called 911 immediately. On the recording played for the jury, Patrick can be heard begging her to stay awake as she groaned in pain. He asked her, over and over, where the children were, and finally, Lindsay whispered 2 words, in the basement. What followed was almost unbearable to hear in court. Patrick's screams echoed through the dispatch recording as he ran downstairs. He found 5-year-old Cora, 3-year-old Dawson, and 8-month-old Callan. Exercise resistance bands were still wrapped around their necks. As the transcripts played in the courtroom, Lindsay sobbed into her hands. Prosecutors used this testimony to establish the brutal reality of the crime. The defense used Patrick's own later words against that same narrative, that Lindsay had been a loving mother who had completely lost her grip on reality. And that's the question this entire trial comes down to. Was Lindsay Clancy a calculating murderer, or a woman in the grip of an uncontrollable psychotic break? The defense argues it was severe postpartum psychosis, compounded by extreme over-medication. In the 4 months before the tragedy, Lindsay was prescribed 13 different psychiatric drugs, constantly changed, combined, or abruptly stopped. Patrick himself testified that about a week after the tragedy, while she was hospitalized, Lindsay called him and said she'd heard a man's voice in her head, telling her it was her last chance. Under oath, Patrick admitted, "I didn't even know what psychosis was until after this happened." He's since filed a civil medical malpractice lawsuit against her treating doctors, alleging the system failed her long before that night did. Which brings us to the moment that just blew this trial wide open. Prosecutors have leaned heavily on Lindsay's 5-day stay at McLean Hospital, a top-tier psychiatric facility, just weeks before the tragedy. Their argument: doctors cleared her and she denied having suicidal thoughts. But then a TikTok video went viral.
I'm a Massachusetts social worker, and I also worked on the exact inpatient unit at McLean for nearly 8 years that Lindsay Clancy was a patient at. Very important, I was not there when she was there, but I literally worked there for 8 years We need to correct the misinformation that this prosecutor is saying about McLean and what the stay there is like. So I'm gonna break down everything for you and tell you the truth. Let's preface this with identifying what the prosecutor's approach is with the McLean stay in particular. The prosecution is trying to say that if Lindsay really wanted to get better, why didn't she engage in treatment more? And then the prosecutor specifically talks about McLean, what's offered there, and identifies things that Lindsay did not participate in. And we need to correct that. Let me tell you how it actually works. So the first thing the prosecution brings up with Patrick Clancy is that he has stated that he felt like she didn't really get any treatment while she was at McLean. And one of the things that he was under the impression of was that she didn't really see a doctor while she was there. Now, the prosecutor then says to him, well, are you aware she actually saw a doctor each day and she saw a resident? Are you aware of that? And he says, no, I wasn't under that impression. Let me tell you exactly why.
Emily Thorndike, a licensed social worker and former McLean employee, alleged that during holidays and weekends, exactly when Lindsay was admitted, the facility was critically understaffed. One doctor for over 20 patients. No real one-on-one therapy. Defense attorney Kevin Reddington seized on the clip, trying to bring Thorndike in as a witness to challenge the hospital's credibility.
There is a woman, her name is Emily Thorndike, who's a LICSW here in Massachusetts. She owns and is an independent operator of her own clinical social work establishment called Wise Mind Therapy. Your Honor has her resume. She graduated from Dover Sherburne High School, received a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology from Hartwick College, master's degree from BC, 2019, is licensed in Massachusetts. And interestingly enough, she did work at the McLean Hospital in the very short-term unit that the doctor was testifying that Lindsay was in for 5 days in January of 22 into 23. She worked for 5 years as a mental health specialist from May of 2014 to May of 2019. She was a clinical social worker manager of that unit. This woman posted a video on TikTok, which, much like yourself, I'm sure, I hardly know what TikTok is, but I received an email from one of the very, very active people in the community of TikTok saying, look, you got to check this video out. So I did. This is about a week ago, maybe longer now. When I saw her video saying that she could not stand for, and I quote, the lies and the misrepresentations from that witness stand about McLean Hospital, I then said to my private investigator, Bob Jones, I said, Bob, I can't find this woman because she had a pseudonym name or whatever.
In a strange twist, his investigator initially struggled to even reach her because she assumed the defense team's outreach was an AI spam bot. When prosecutors objected, Judge William Sullivan shut it down immediately, telling the court, "This is not TripAdvisor. I wouldn't allow that." That ruling captures exactly how thin the line is that this jury has to walk. On one side, the prosecution's case for deliberate action, Lindsay timing her husband's errand, looking up driving routes, showing no visible signs of distress that morning. On the other, the defense's case for an invisible illness, a woman over-medicated beyond recognition, repeatedly reaching out for help, ultimately failed by the very system meant to protect her. With Patrick Clancy's testimony now on the record, the jury is left with the hardest question of all. Did Lindsay Clancy have the criminal intent for first-degree murder, or was she, in the end, a victim of her own mind? What's your take on this case? Did the healthcare system fail Lindsay Clancy, or was this calculated? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this deep dive helped you understand the case, hit like and subscribe to 24/7 True Crime Chronicles for continuing coverage of this trial and more. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.